Welcome to the NEPA Scene Podcast. We're coming to you live from Cole Creative in downtown Wilkes-Barre. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene. John here this show's too metal for him, so he pussied out and didn't show up. But that's okay, because we're here with Threat Point, a groove/thrash metal band from Scranton, Pennsylvania. And they're opening for Attacker at the Irish Wolf Pub on March 16th. We're going to talk about the creation of their brand new album, Salvation, tour stories from around the country, the local metal scene, being one of the big four of NEPA metal, a bold statement, I must say, upcoming festival and tour dates, and much, much more. So please tune in for the full hour. We would love to hear from you. So leave your comments down below, anything you want to say to these guys, anything you want to add to our conversation, by all means leave that in the comments. We will read them in a little bit. So, but before we get to the interview, I know these guys are ready and willing to crack these open. So Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre always gives us these wonderful crowlers every week. They have 72 beers on tap. This week they gave us Avery White Rascal, Yards Brawler, and SBC 6th Generation Stock Ale. So which one do you guys want to tap into first?
I thought about being a little rascal.
All right.
Yep. Yeah,
That's a good choice. We've had this one on before. I think it's a Belgian white, if I'm not mistaken.
You got to shake it up before you open it. It's always better that way.
Shake it up, then let CJ open it down the hall. Looks like a Belgian.
This is the hardest part of the job here. Making sure you get perfect pours on
Pour
all
the brew,
these.
man. I'm okay. I'm all right, Rich. Thank you.
That's
All right.
good.
Alex?
Smooth.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rich.
Yeah, no problem.
This is good.
Smells really good.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your official review?
That's our official review of this
Yep.
one.
It's good.
That's like dessert beer. That's lovely. Yeah, let me
Now I
see.
gotta
He's
try
going to
it.
drink the whole damn thing now.
Let me try it.
Beer Boys has a half-price happy hour on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays from 9 to 11. Fridays and Saturdays from 8 till midnight, so make sure you stop down. Tonight, Thursdays, are their pitcher nights, so you can stop down for $4 pitchers all night. This Friday, Nick Bilski is playing. Saturday, DJ Kenton is spinning starting at 10 p.m., and there's never a cover. So make sure you stop down for their live entertainment on the weekends and the best beer selection in northeastern Pennsylvania. Also, we want to plug our friends at the V-Spot. The V-Spot is one of the most popular bars in northeastern Pennsylvania with live entertainment every night of the week. This week, they have Chris Shrive tonight. D West is rocking on Friday. Saturday, Doubting Thomas is playing their CD release show with the Holtzman Effect opening the night. The first 25 customers starting at 8 p.m. will receive a free t-shirt and a free download of the new EP. So if you're a fan of hard rock or metal or anything like that, make sure you stop down for Doubting Thomas. They're from Easton. We have an article on nepascene.com right now about them as well. So if you want to dig into a little bit more about them, watch some of their videos, listen to some of their music, that's on our front page right now. And DJ Huff is hosting karaoke on Sunday. So if you're a karaoke guy, if Thomas the Red is watching, he's always there for that. Looks like we got some good comments already. So let's start off by, I've talked to you guys a bunch of times over the years, so I know your deal, but maybe these people don't. Could you tell us a little bit about how you guys got started back in 2012?
2012. March 4th.
Yeah.
Actually coming up on our 7th year anniversary. A few days. 7 years strong.
Anybody wants to mail us checks out there, we'll take it.
Birthday cards.
No.
Load those birthday cards.
Yeah, we used to like, he had an old band and we were in an old band and we used to play a lot of shows together. This is like 2009, 2010. And, as things happen, bands come and go, venues close, venues open, new bands form. And with this, that's really how this happened.
Okay.
That's the very brief version.
CJ put an ad out and I answered it. And when I answered, he goes, "This is a joke, right?" I'm like, "No." I says, "You're the joke." He goes, "Who is this?" And I said, you know who I am? And he goes, call me. And we made a phone.
Yeah.
And me, him, Alex, and Sam went to Perkins one day. Sam didn't show up. Like Sam's here tonight, but Sam works.
He's working. He
Sam
would be
works. Yes. Sam's with us in spirit. And that was it, man. We sat down. I said, let's do this.
We should go to Perkins on Monday.
Yeah, and celebrate this.
With the foot of snow that we're supposed
Maybe
to
they'll give us a free meal.
Yeah.
We're at Red Point.
Yeah.
Perkins will give us a free meal. And that was it. Here we are.
Pretty simple, straightforward. What made you guys? You guys have been in other bands over the years. You had other bands before this. What makes this band special that you guys have been together for 7 years now?
We're like family.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. We really.
Yeah, it's like a brotherhood. Like, I mean, I've been close with people in other bands, but you know, we've been around for a while now, and you know, all the touring stuff, you're pretty much living together, so you become very close. Like, we even hang out like outside of the band too, and I think that helps. It almost helps like making music and touring just more fun and easier, like when you're really good friends with like your bandmates.
Right.
That ice is broken.
Yep.
All our families hang out. Like our families even hang out together. We've been through funerals, divorces, weddings. We've holidays. We exchange gifts. I mean, it's really like a family.
Yeah.
Alex, right? Brotherhood, family, like blood.
That's when you know it's good when you guys aren't sick of each other.
No.
After like a long weekend or a couple days together, I'm I'm like, all right, guys, don't call me. Don't,
we I don't even got the bus and parking or jumping off.
Yeah,
of it.
it's like paratroopers.
Yeah.
Go. You know, but it's all in good fun, you know.
And then this guy, he just dropped into the family, and we've had not a lot of lineup changes, just a few bass player things. You know, we'll address that quick here because we've had a few players come and go. You know, a lot of people don't want to tour. The schedules, that's generally what it is. I mean, we've got great players in this band, you know. But Sam, our last bass player, stepped down. He got a new job, a new career, and he remarried and everything. But Sam wanted to come back in. Sam left because he went to medical school. Legitimate reason. He came back in. He was in time. He had to learn. We had the whole album written, but he learned. He wrote all his own bass tracks, and he went and re-recorded and did the whole album. So Sam's been here almost a year now back.
Yeah,
Almost,
yeah.
And then
About a year.
this guy, he was in Beyond Fallen, as you know, and no, we didn't steal him. We did not steal Greg.
like he's an inanimate object.
Yeah,
We
he's
picked
not
him up
even
and
here.
took him off the table.
Yeah.
Put him in my pocket.
But Greg was on hiatus, and he came out of the woods one day, and CJ saw him walking down the road and said, "Get in." Greg could probably tell you the story better.
Oh, I just took a break from playing for a while, really, and I had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life at the time, so I kind of just stepped away from everything. And then once I kind of bounced back, I actually quit playing guitar for a good amount of time too, because I don't know what happened. I just kind of hit like a rut where I wasn't doing anything.
Sure.
And then, I deleted my social media pages. Like, screw everybody. I just I went into reclusive mode basically. I don't want to be bothered. And then I came back and just kind of started doing things, but this time kind of went a little further, I guess you'd say. And then this guy hit me up on Facebook, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Working." Going home.
How's it going? It's been a couple years.
Yeah.
What's new in your life?
And he's like, "Hey, we're not really looking for a guitar player, but if you're interested in playing, I'm sure Chris will hit you up too or whatever." I'm like, "All right, screw it, I'll give it a shot," because I was actually around this time was when I wanted to reform something or do something of my own, and we met up. Hung out for a bit and bullshitted for a while, and then it just kind of just fell into place, and that was it. Like, ask him. They tell me all the time. It feels like I've been here forever, and
He actually
it's weird.
He actually says, we'll be like, "Hey, Greg, remember?" And he goes, "No, guys, I wasn't here yet." We're like, "Oh yeah, that's right," because it really, you just know when someone fits in. It's like he just like he's been here forever. It just feels that natural when we're on the tour bus, we're outside, we're talking about starting to write again. I mean, there's so much going on. It just you have Sam back, and now you got Greg in here. Greg played his first show at 12, 22.
A couple days before Christmas.
Yeah, I think it was right before Christmas.
Greg signed on. I'm like, hey, no pressure. You have about 40 songs to learn. You got 2 weeks. Let's do it. He knocked down 19 songs in like a blink of an eye, plus a few covers. We're throwing in covers, and we're still learning. He's still trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
Because we have 4 albums.
I think there's only 2 songs I didn't learn off the new album. So I mean, pretty much.
We didn't relearn them.
We don't know them
so
yet either. So
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's going good though. And then like when Alex when I'm learning a new song, Alex records it and sends it to me in Dropbox, and I just sit there, listen to it for a few minutes, learn it, and go and play it. That's it. So it's pretty easy, But I mean, it's made easy because of the accessibility we have now versus years ago. You couldn't do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to learn something back in the day. Either got to tab it out or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or record it, and then you got to sit there and try to slow the video down and dissect it if there's a part you can't catch.
Right.
write the tabs down and send the carrier pigeon to bring it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got Sam, who he's like Joe Loftus. He's just a freak on the bass. I mean, he didn't even practice with us. We're doing Megadeth now and Danzig. We're doing 2 covers. We've been decided to start adding like classic metal covers to our set for fun. People love them.
We got 2
And
other covers.
He's like, Sam did a practice. Man, don't worry about Sam. Sam, you ready? Yeah, I got him ready. We played him that night. Like, we didn't even practice with him. He learns them on his own because he works 3 to 11.
Yeah.
So it's tough to get practice when we practice Thursday or whatever day we practice. Sam's usually working. He's not around. If he's around, he'll jump in. But otherwise, we'll just say, here, learn this. We send him this song or that song, or learn this cover, and then we translate it into whatever tuning we're in. He's just one of those guys. Lucky.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
he is.
He's a hell of a player too.
gifted.
The other thing too, like even like playing live on stage with these guys, it's funny. It's like me and Alex will make goofy faces at each other, and we'll have a good time. There's no stress or anything. Everybody just kind of does their end, and
This is the best lineup ever.
it just feels good.
You guys agree?
Yeah. If you're not having fun, there's no
Yeah.
point.
Mm.
Yeah, because there's no
You got-
money. You gotta have fun because
Gotta
there's no
have
money.
fun, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk a little bit about how that exactly works. Everybody, I'm sure, some people got day jobs and other things you got to do to how do you do it as an independent band and get out on the road and book these kinds of dates.
CJ robs ATM machines with his cars. It was on video. Fox News.
You heard it here
Yeah.
first.
That's how we do it.
That makes
you know?
sense.
You remember when CJ's car got robbed? They
No,
robbed
that
it,
was
and then
a
they
couple
robbed
years
the
ago,
ATM
yeah.
machine.
Oh, that's
And I'm
Legit.
sitting there one night, I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit, that's CJ. That's CJ. I call him,
Yeah.
CJ, your car's on Fox News. He goes, what? And that was his
Yep.
car.
It
It
got
was literally his
hijacked,
car.
and somebody actually
Holy
did try to rob Nancy.
Somebody actually, yeah.
Somebody. That
No,
was,
we all-
that
we
wasn't
all-
me.
We all work full time. We all have good jobs. And if you did,
Yeah.
couldn't do this.
It'd be,
You have to.
yeah, because you got to
You have
fork
to.
money out of pocket all the time for
All the
stuff.
time.
When you're on the road,
all the time.
if you're on the road and you're me and eat 3, full-sized meals in one sitting, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's everything is money. The
Yeah,
bus,
so
the
you gotta-
maintenance, the
you gotta
gas,
balance-
the
Yeah.
CD, the merch. Everything is money. You're putting so much into it.
So if we
Right.
do make anything at a show on merch, selling all that, it
Exxon
goes.
gets it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I like
Yeah.
to think of it almost as like a free vacation when we go out. Like if we sell merch or like goes in the gas tank and then we go to see all these cool places and then go back with really not technically really spending anything on it.
Right.
Plus
Break
we
it
have the
even.
bus where we could sleep, so we're not spending money on hotels. So
Absolutely.
it's like little getaways, I think. And
Just
we get to
gotta
play music. too.
Balance it all.
Yeah.
Life,
That-
work,
that's-
job, relationships, whatever.
It's nice to get out of this area too sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fun.
I see some of your pictures from the road sometimes, like when you post them on social media, and it's fun to see it in all these different places.
We
and everything.
try to see and maximize with killer restaurants, like looking up on Yelp and finding those off the wall restaurants, stuff you see on diners, dives, and drive-ins. We see the guy doing those things, and we're like, hey, we write them down and remember them. We try to hit them out there, and then we go to national parks. And I mean, we were at Lake Michigan. It was -20,
It's like a field trip.
and Sam fell.
Yep,
And we all laughed. We almost got frozen lung syndrome from it, laughing so hard.
It was like negative 30
entertaining.
wind chill.
Yeah, it was.
On the
awful.
lake, on Lake Michigan, was it?
Yeah.
And we get out of the bus, and we were running up to the sand mountain to get a picture, and we're hauling ass down the beach, and all of a sudden all I hear is, "Hey, you guys ever woof," and then you hear Chris screaming, "Sam wiped out!" I turn around, Sam's getting back up. It was hilarious.
Fun.
It was, like we have a lot of fun, like, a lot of laughs.
Like Alex said
What?
once to me, he goes, if I was in this band, I wouldn't have seen as much as we've seen. We've been we've been to every state in this country. We played 40 out of them, you know, but we've been through many of them. You know, been to every mountain range that bus has pulled. Every single mountain range in the United States we pulled with that bus.
Except for me,
Crazy.
I haven't seen anything past Chicago.
He's getting there. He'll get there. But
It was at Florida when I was little, but it was different. Nobody cares.
you told me you went to Chick Shitty last week.
No, oh my God.
For what it's worth, too, if anybody out there wants to see Yellowstone, Old Faithful, just watch a YouTube video. Because it's not that cool in person. Like, you know, you would think, like, the earth is going to rumble and you're going to see God and the devil all in one. It was just like, I was like, oh, that's it? I piss in the morning with more pressure than that. You know? I mean, it's something to see, I guess, but just
It was a
YouTube
beautiful
it.
park. Yellowstone's beautiful.
There's some holes that open up around our area that I'm
Oh.
probably.
Yeah, well, you know, the good thing about the snow is it covers them in.
Yes,
So.
that's true. That's
That's
Drive
drive
right
right
over
over
it.
smooth there.
that's the only time.
Or when it rains, the birds can fly in there and make a bird bath. You know,
Yeah, there you go.
it's, you know,
NEPA.
yeah.
Are the roads? Is it really as bad as people say it is? Because you've driven everywhere else.
Yeah, you
are the
leave the
roads
state-
here really that
Yes,
bad?
They're
Absolutely.
awful.
They are.
Awful.
They are.
Absolutely.
It seems like
they
every
are, I
other
swear.
state.
You know
every-
when you
yeah.
cross the state line immediately.
It's
Yeah.
like the second
Because
you
you
hit
get
the
sleep.
sleep, like,
Because you actually go in the bunk and go to sleep and they're like, hey, and then and it's funny, you'll hit PA and you start bouncing. Somebody will yell from the bunk, hey, we must be back home. You know, it is. It's every road. It's the highways, the interstates. It's
It'll
the
knock-
back roads, side roads. I mean, we're on.
it'll
we-
knock the dentures right out of your
We
mouth.
went across Ohio. We cut across the back roads, and they were smooth.
Go figure.
Yeah, even
Honestly,
side
yeah.
roads out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's different. When you're out of state, you could tell a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, in terms of the crowds, what are some of the better places to hit up? What are some of the ones where you guys have gone over really well, or that you make sure you try to hit whenever you guys are out on the road?
Midwest,
New England area,
Yep.
Maine.
Virginia. Always do well in Virginia.
Finger Lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Upstate, like New York, Finger Lake area, like there's just a following up there. I don't know. Finger Lake Metal Festival will be doing that in a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, Vermont, Maine, New Hampshire, but Maine, like we got to give a shout out to Rick Servito up there, man. He's been booking us for those people. It should say "Welcome to Maine, where metal is alive." When you hit that state, because every show, every time you play
Packed.
Maine, they're packed.
Yeah.
They come before the band start, and they got to be thrown out of the bar when the bands are done. It's like the old, like the '80s.
Wow.
You know, I mean, we've had. I feel like the Midwest,
Revocation
Oklahoma,
is from Boston.
Texas.
Yeah.
Like we've had great shows. I mean, we've had shows in Idaho that were good. It's just hit and miss. There's pockets. There's definitely
Yeah.
pockets, right?
Yep.
Yep.
You know.
A lot of
Second
places
show.
where you wouldn't expect it either, like West Virginia, you wouldn't think would be a metal state, and then
Right.
people just go out, lose their minds. It's awesome.
Yeah.
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 And you wonder why that is. You know, I mean, I
Maybe
guess you
there's
have
nothing to do there. I don't know.
That
I
might
mean, we
have something to
played
do with it.
there a couple of years ago, and I remember like we did a battle of bands, which we won, which was awesome because we're like the only outsider band coming in. So we're thinking well, maybe it's a little biased here. We don't know.
Sure.
And we won, so like
And it was in a tiki bar.
yeah, and like
It
you have
was
no
packed.
service on your cell phone. It actually was like the same county that what's that movie?
Oh, Wrong Turn.
Wrong Turn. Yeah, Wrong Turn was filmed there.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was insane, man. It was in the mount. You couldn't make it up if you tried. Like, and we won the show. I don't know if you guys remember a guy.
The moonshine.
Yeah, a guy
Yeah.
gave us a bottle of apple moonshine to take home. It was great, man. It's like, and you know, like they say, like Southern hospitality. That's a real thing. Like they're so polite.
Oh, yeah.
They don't even know you, and they welcome
The
you.
first
in
time
like
we
that.
were in Virginia, I remember we pulled up the schoolhouse, that Annihilation Fest we did, and
Yeah.
I remember just people coming out like, "Do you guys need help?" Just tons of people helping us
Yeah.
load
They
gear.
don't even know
We've
us.
never been there before. It's just,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah, crazy. You don't get that everywhere. Big cities are. I don't know why.
Too much to do.
Maybe in there's just too much going on in a big city. I don't recall us ever doing great in any
we did.
big city.
Webster Hall, Manhattan was phenomenal.
We've played New York City a couple times, handful of Baltimore, Philly.
Yeah, the big city competition of shows.
Yeah.
Right.
If you have 15 shows going on, you're divided. When you go to West Virginia, it's the only thing in town or something. I mean, it's like everybody comes out.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, Maine, they book it well up there. You know, Vermont, New Hampshire, Plattsburgh, New York. You know, another great place. But we're going out to St. Louis. Was a great show. We're doing the Foo Bar, and then we're going into Texas. And we're gonna do Oklahoma again. And I got people chomping the bit waiting for us because we've been there before. But they were great. I remember the first time we were at Tulsa.
That was awesome.
It was
That place was
insane.
Yeah.
packed.
Tulsa. It's like country capital of the country. And they have one
it was
hell of a
good.
metal crowd up
Yep.
there.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I'll be looking forward to that.
So are you guys playing with other bands? Are you meeting other bands on the road, or are you?
Yeah, we're actually going to be playing with Mudflux on a run of a couple of the shows. They're from Tulsa. You know, actually our old friend Brax, that ties into everything. We got signed with Voodoo Queen Management out there in Chicago. Hello, Yvonne. And Brax introduced us to her. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here with her. And we want to come to Tulsa. And it was just like, bang, it's done. He set us up. And Mudflux was cool. They hooked us up down in Tyler, Texas. I have a lot of family out in Tyler area. So they're waiting to see us again, you know. So that worked out. And then St. Louis, that's a Voodoo Queen show. They're also, they're out of Chicago, but like their second home base is St. Louis. So they have a good following in St. Louis too there. So.
And do they work with mostly metal bands, or?
And hard rock. Yeah, she's only got a few on her roster because she really caters to it. I don't know what she's got, 10, 12. I forget how
A
many.
handful.
There's only a handful because it's like you don't want to spread yourself thin between 100 bands.
Right.
She'll devote more time to 10 bands or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
She's very, very attentive. And let me tell you, in 7 years, this is the most help. In the last year and a half, we've been shadowing with her. You know, she's getting to know us, we're getting to know her, and it was a slow thing. But man, that woman put out for us. She'd find us shows, hook us up with bands, set us up with people. You know, we were stuck once out and we didn't have a show, and I don't know. And she got us to Indianapolis, just like, hey, I'll throw you at it. No guarantees, but it's somewhere to play on the way back through because something fell through. But she just showed her true colors over and over and over. She's just been true to it, you know. And we signed her the first of the year, and we're excited. It's just we've known her now. We've met her a few times. We just did her birthday party in Chicago, which was a blast.
Thanks, Richard.
You know, so it's nice to have a team behind you finally
Right.
in 7 years. You know.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask is, you know, it's I think a lot of bands, like we have a lot of musicians who watch this show too, and I always try to kind of throw in some of those questions in terms of advice for those people who do want to know those things. You know, I don't think a lot of bands go in and don't even know how to begin booking these types of things. So how do you even begin to figure out, plan a route out and pick which venues you think are going to work and that kind of stuff?
Black Horizon, you know who they are? The new kid band. They're the younger kids. They have
Oh,
the thrash
okay.
band.
Yes.
It's funny. He just asked me. He just emailed me. And I said, "Man, I'll help you because no one helped us. No one helped us. I didn't know clue how to book. I'm a trucker by day, and I know how to get freight, and I know how to route lanes. I've been in the dispatch office before, and you know how to route, and you know the United States, and booking it's a craft. CJ, he helps me with it. So he knows the routine. Like we know someone say, okay, we're playing Maine this date. Okay, well, we want to do this show and that show. So now you want to route, so you're not you fuel economy. So you're in route of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like this showed up. We wanted to go to Texas. So it's like, hey, what else are we gonna do on the way? Well, Yvonne stepped in. Brack stepped in. Who's under Yvonne's umbrella under VQM? And they just, you're like, okay, we could do this, this, and this, and it's all like a little, just like a nice soft circle that comes around. And on the way home, we'll play Ohio, Buzzbin, Sunday, Metal Sunday. We've done it before. We know it's there. It's an established thing, kind of like Metal Monday at the Rattler used to be.
Okay.
It's a weekday, because weekdays, coast to coast, are very horrible.
Yep.
They're very
That's the
hit
way
and
it
miss.
is, man.
It's
just, yeah.
I mean, it's just tough, but
He's obviously more well-rounded than I am, because he was like a trucker and he's been all over the country and stuff. I mean, I would literally just get a map of the United States up in one window on my computer. Another window would be like Indie on the Move. If there's bands out there that are really serious about looking, you could find venues. I have a couple little aces up my sleeve on Facebook where you could use that, and then like Google Maps. So if you did this show to that show, that venue to that venue, that's 5 hours, that's 15 hours, that's not practical, that's 6, that could do. I mean, it takes time. It takes time. I don't know what you want me to say.
Sure.
It just does, But,
and then when you're out long enough, you start developing relationships.
yeah.
And then you want to definitely go back. Okay, this place is good. Let's go back. This place is but let's give it a chance again. If you've been there 3 times and it sucked every time, then you just like wash your hands of it.
Yeah, sure.
But you start to, and then you might play Tulsa, and there might be a band from Nebraska there, and then you're like, hey, yeah, we'll bring you to Nebraska. So next thing now you got to contact them. It's just.
The next time you set a run up,
Yeah.
you hit them up.
You start meeting people and you start connecting the dots out there with new people. A lot of times booking a venue is tough because you're not from the area, so you really want to get with the good drawing band that knows the area, that's got a crowd that wants to hear that kind of music, and that's what you want to hook up with.
Right.
Yeah, and then sometimes too, you won't necessarily have to hunt for things. They'll be like, hey, you want to jump on this show with us, or you know what I mean? And like it's like, all right, yeah, we could do that, and that's kind of rewarding.
We get a lot of
because
that
you have
now.
to hunt for it,
Yeah, because you've been out there for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there's so many bands trying to do the same thing. It's so hard to stand out and make yourselves known. How do you guys go about that so that people want to see you come back? There's a lot of venues that are dying to see you guys again. How do you guys stand out from the pack?
We move on stage.
Yeah, we make a.
Yeah, we just we're all smiling on stage, laughing. We're just having a good time, and I think when we're having a good time, I think that translates to the crowd, and then they have a good time. So that it's just like one big party, and everyone's
Positivity
just
and energy.
Yeah,
People feed on it.
Some bands get up there, man, and they're like timid. Their head down and like.
I used to do that.
You're entertaining.
They're
people.
glued to the
Do you know what I mean?
floor.
Right.
I'm a drummer, so I'm stuck behind a drum kit.
You stand on your throne anyway.
Well, that's what I mean, and that's why I do it, because nobody, that's the last guy everybody's looking at. So I would set myself on fire if I could. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna
Definitely-
make them remember me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that.
I
Definitely mingling with
you
people
know.
when it's over. Talking, dude, shaking hands
Yep.
is more important than sitting on your Facebook at home.
kissing
When you-
hands
when
and
you-
shaking babies.
Yeah, when you can shake people's hands, that's important.
That's my cup of tea.
Yeah, sometimes though, like he's right though. You establish a personal connection with somebody, and they'll. I mean, I've even had people tell us like, I don't even really like metal that much, but you guys are not bad. Well, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes too, you make a personal connection with somebody, and that could win over anything. You know what I mean? You went out of your way to.
Plus, if a fan really likes you, they'll spread the word about you,
Yeah,
and
they
other
will.
people get interested, and it's like just keeps building.
Hopefully, some of them are watching right now. So if you are, you must be really bored on a Thursday night, and we thank you for that.
We've met lots of people all coast to coast.
Yeah.
And we
Thirsty
still stay in
Thursday.
contact
Thirsty
with them.
Thursday,
It's
it is.
cool. Through Facebook or through an email or someone private text message or a phone call, you know, but you start to meet people and then you go back again and then they're there and then next thing you know, sometimes we sit down, we have dinner with people, meet us up for at dinner and you just build friendships out of it, you know.
Well, you see so much bad about social media. Those are the good things about
Yeah.
social media. Like that's the whole real purpose.
Yeah.
Of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's way
Yeah.
too much negativity
Yeah.
on social media.
We won't even waste your time on this negative.
Yeah.
Whole world's full of negatives, so.
Yep.
Speaking of which, if you're enjoying this conversation, share it. Actually share it. Stop sharing your political opinions.
Yeah.
No one cares. You're not changing any minds.
Right.
Share this instead. You
Yeah.
might turn somebody on to something that they haven't heard before.
Sharing is caring.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the new album, Salvation. When and where did you guys record that?
Oh,
It was actually almost exactly a year ago we started to record it.
longer than that.
We've been writing it. We wrote it for 2
We've been
years,
writing it for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Matter of fact, I remember, and I didn't wind up going to the show. Maybe you went. You have an Anthrax shirt, an Anthrax
Yeah.
Kill Switch. I think it was like Lamb of God.
Yes,
the shirt was, yeah.
I
Did
did
you
go-
go?
I
Yeah.
did go to that
Rub it
one,
in,
yes.
Rich. I was supposed to go. I had a ticket, and I actually gave it to my friend Amanda because that was like the last one of the days I started tracking my drums, and I'm like, I really wanted to
He
go.
had his priorities straight that
Yeah.
day.
I just-
he stayed in
Yeah.
I
the studio.
went to the show. I did not have my priorities
Yeah. I just want because I just when I get in the studio, I just want to get in and out.
He's
I wanna,
demonic in his
Yeah,
studio. Don't let him candy coat this.
Absolutely.
He is the
I
devil.
don't want anyone there when I'm drumming.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't. I'm
He
just
gets
I'm
mean,
nuts like that.
vile, vicious. Pounding 16 Red Bulls and Monsters is not helping
Yeah.
the situation. Him and Joe Loftus are drinking that high-test coffee. and then CJ's like cranked up on 10,000, and then he's got a drum.
Yep, that's how I do it.
So yeah, we recorded Joe Loftus, Jail Studios.
But yeah, I like to kind of get in and out. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the reasons that I'm just like, I just kind of want to get my stuff done, and
Yeah.
because it takes, it just takes. It's a whole process.
We recorded them in just that weekend?
About
I
a
think?
weekend.
4 days.
Yeah.
4 days.
4 days, 12 tracks.
Yep. Go over the part again. Go over the whole song. Oh, I flubbed that fill. Can I punch it in? Just. It's got to be perfect, man. So that's that's the stressful part.
Right.
There's some people that like it. I don't. It's in this. You have to do it. But
But Sam, you got to see Sam in his studio. Sam walks in, learned the songs in like a week. Went in there, played them all, did them all in like 2 days. 12 bass track. Okay, done. I'm
Yeah.
done. Like he is just that fluid with it. Just
Yep.
one of those lucky guys.
yeah.
Alex is pretty calm though. He's pretty cool and collective until his solo time comes. Then you got to blurp and beep out his mouth. He gets psycho
Yeah.
during solos.
It is entertaining.
Flub notes all the time, just take after take, misery.
Yeah.
The red
But it's
button.
worth it in the end product once you hear it back after.
Alex must gain like 15 pounds too because he eats big bags of Jacks like this, family-sized bags. His
Yeah,
fingers are
very
all-
well
his
balanced
fingers
diet.
are all orange. His
Very well
fretboard's
balanced.
orange.
I turn into a dirtbag in the studio. It's bad. It's real bad.
I gotta spray him down with some Axe.
That's what
Get
happened
him
to me
outta
when
here.
I was recording the leads on the Beyond Fallen album. I'd go in the studio. I went over to the dollar store and I just bought White Castle cheeseburgers, and I just turned into a royal scumbag.
Yeah, there's a dollar store, there's a pizza shop right across from the studio,
Yeah.
so there's plenty of opportunities to be a dirtbag while you're trying to record and
Oh,
yeah.
Yep, all kinds of
Stress eating. Yeah.
First
Yeah.
class gourmet. Absolutely.
Yeah. And,
Loftus is great to
and
work
Loftus
with, though.
is the biggest encouragement. Where we eating,
Yeah.
right? Where we eating,
Where we
guys?
going? No, because man, there's days you walk in you spend all weekend there. Saturday you walk in at noon, you leave at like
3 in the morning.
2 or 3 in the morning. Like there's your weekend.
Your eyeballs hanging out of your head.
Yep.
Then you're back in there the next day. And then when we do back to back to back, we actually plowed through this. We booked 3 weeks solid, and we were in there every day. And especially when you do 15 hours, and you got to be back in there at noon. Then you're in there another 15 or 12 hours. And by Sunday, your eyes are just like you're fried, And then Monday and Tuesday, we do a lot of the tougher, longer things during the weekends, and then like during the week, you see Alex will go in and he'll work on the solos, a little more down, quieter, because you're only going there a couple hours during the weeknights, After work, you go in to try to get what you've done.
Well, I mean that probably helps the anger and aggression part of the music, I would think.
Oh, that's there.
That like fuels it, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack's fueled brutality.
Yeah.
Yeah. We ain't much of partiers, man. There's Diet Coke. There's Lou's Pizza, lots of it. Luigi's, Jack's,
Lots of water.
A
water,
lot of water.
500 gallons of Monster energy drinks.
So your bodies just hate themselves by the end
Yeah.
of the
Pretty much,
the
yeah.
process.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
you're trying to hear back what you did during the day after like 15 hours. You're like,
What?
Yeah.
Joe, how's that sound? you look like you're a zombie. You feel like it. You're like, you don't even care what it sounds like. You know,
you're like, yeah, that's good. And the next day, you're like, what was that?
what was
Yeah.
what was redo that?
Yep.
Oh.
Or you hear something back, like from another take that Joe might have had, an alternate take. You're like, whoa, that was really good. Why did we get rid of it?
Yeah. When that fatigue hits you, you can't decipher good from bad.
Yeah.
You know.
You know, anybody who watches the show regularly knows that a lot of the bands we have in here just happen to end up recording at JL Studios. It's so funny to see the interesting, you know, what it's completely different genres from one
Yeah.
to the next are always in that studio,
Yeah.
and it all sounds great. It's amazing
You
how
know,
they're able to work with so many different.
It's
bands.
something too. I mean, like my old band used to go there. This was like 2009, 2010. His old band
Yeah.
used to go there. So it's just kind of coincidence. Like,
Yeah,
you know, when Joe moved up to like the Scranton area, he used to be down here like Wilkes-Barre area.
Right.
Like I know a lot of bands were asking us, where did you guys go? Like, where you guys' stuff sounds great. Where'd you go? And like we alone probably got Joe more clients.
Yeah.
I know we
Bands out
did.
of state come there.
I
because
know
of
we
us,
did.
You know, because we toured with them, and they're like, "Hey, where'd you get your product?" You know, with Joe.
He's amazing
The
to work
girl,
with.
on our last
He's
album,
awesome.
the girl who did guest vocals on it, she from Lauren from Endicott. She now her band records there.
Dramas.
They're out of state, and you know what I mean. So it's like,
right.
And Jay Preston too is there. He works with Joe.
Yes.
From S. Dakota.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
He is my right hand when it comes to vocals next to CJ. Like, I get in there and it's like CJ. I just make CJ sit there. It's weird. He's a drummer, but you know when he hears melodies, it's weird at things he could hear.
Yeah.
He'll
Yeah.
hear sometimes a flow where I'm stumped or something. He'll hear off lyrics flow or might have the way to cut them down to make. I might be struggling with. You think you got it all down pat, and then you get in and you start playing and you hear playback and you're like, that's not working. And
Yeah.
you know, between him and Jay Preston, he's got a great voice, man. That guy could sing.
Oh yeah.
And he is so helpful in there when you're. I mean, I went in there one song. I started singing. He goes, stop. You're done. Come on in. Let's figure this out. And they're cool because they'll push us. Joe and Jay know us enough. They just, you guys can do better. You know, go home, get rest. I went in there once. I started singing. Goes, you're beat. You're tired. Go home. He caught me. I was in there 10 minutes. Go home. You know, and they know. They know us
Yeah.
through the years. And
Yeah, they're both, on top of that, they're just great musicians by
Yeah,
themselves.
absolutely.
So
Right.
that helps a lot too. You know, like Chris said, like Jay helping them with vocals, and you know, Joe Loftus could play any instrument pretty much better than any of us.
Yep.
So he always has good ideas and like input.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where they've had ideas where I'm just like, oh, I would have never thought of that.
I remember
and
I
it
was.
just makes the song like that much better.
Yeah, he's phenomenal to work with. They both are. I remember when I was tracking a solo, Joe actually picked the one guitar up and he was goofing around on it, and he just started playing Yngwie Malmsteen. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm just gonna put this down and go home
go
now.
home and bury my head in the sand.
Yeah.
and they're very patient. Like
Yeah,
if you're
patient.
not getting it something right, or
They
like,
hear things like, well, we'll be stumped or something, and like they might not like the way we say morph a chorus back into a verse, or just pieces. Sometimes they hear because it's outside looking in, so they'll hear something to help us transition. So they're not just there recording; they're really
Yeah.
definitely co-producing our stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they got a big say.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's a lyric line, sometimes it's a musical piece, a solo. Joe does like a lot of the intros, the piano. He plays the grand piano in there. That in there, I am. That's Joe. That's Loftus playing the grand piano
it's
in
like a
there.
movie score.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like cinematic.
yeah. So
It's a process, man.
draining.
Like people are hearing the album now, and it's like, man, this is old news. We started writing this 2 years.
Probably right after Rip came out.
Yeah.
I think we started literally like
fall winter of 2016.
right when our last our last album came out, we just started writing again.
And now we're ready to. We're Greg's pretty much caught up to where we're hammering sets. We got him. You know, like we're playing most of our newer stuff. We pick out a few of the old ones and want to keep it. He's up to speed, man. He's fast. He learns with Alex. And man, I mean, he comes to practice. I got 7 more down. Okay, well that makes it. So he's pushing us to get back into the writing mode.
Right.
I mean, you got Greg now. You got Sam, who's a great writer, and the 3 of us have been writing together for years. So, I mean, these guys have written with Sam, and we wrote our first album with Sam. Dead to Rise was with Sam. The 4 of us wrote it. So this album will be the first album with 5 of us all writing in the same room, and I think we're all pretty stoked about it.
Oh yeah.
This guy can write, man. I think he's got a backup in aisle 3 that's ready to unload some metal riffage, because he just gets down to practice and just starts ripping, and we're like, keep that, save that, record that, you know. I mean, he's ready to chomping at the bit for the next round. It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be fun too, because him and I are going to be some dueling leads and shred harmonies. There's a lot of stuff we're throwing around, so
Yeah.
it's going to be. It's just going to keep getting better, basically. You know?
Because you're pushing each other.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just one guy writing leads, and like it's all of us. Plus, Chris plays guitar too, and he's got a set of chops on him. So everybody works together. We throw an idea out. If you like it, you just start hashing it out, and it goes
Whatever's
from there.
best for the song.
Yeah.
And
You know what's great is we're at Waterloo, and there's people that have been watching us 7 years ago from day one to now, and we got off the stage and everything was great. And he goes, "This is you guys. This is you guys at your finest." Rick Horton, big shout out to Rick. Up there in Finger Lakes. I mean, the guy books us. He's got great shows, but he said, he goes, "You guys, this is the best you guys been." And your new music is old school. Went back to the old school roots, that thrash roots,
Yeah.
And things are changing. But when Greg came in and Sam, it just took the dynamics, because again, you got him and him. When you used to hear just rip with Alex, now you're hearing what Alex does, or what I did with Alex in the studio with the dueling leads, or the harmonies. Like, these guys are pulling off harmonies and stuff. That just makes it like
Fully.
3D.
Like rounds it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to, like you said, we never actually wrote as a 5-piece. Since
Right.
we've had like members like kind of in and out. When it always came down to like time for writing for the next album, we were always as a 4-piece.
Yeah.
So a lot of the writing was us three. Me,
three.
CJ, and Chris. So I mean, Sam has great ideas. Greg was sending us riffs. So I think it's going to be a lot more, even more well-rounded than what we've done in the past. So I'm definitely looking forward to.
This is gonna be this. It's crazy you say it all the time, but this album, I think, is the next one. I mean, Salvation's awesome, but the dynamics we're seeing on stage, what these two are doing, the dueling, I mean, people are just like, wow. There's a wow factor going on. There's a camaraderie. There's the tightness, the chemistry, and Sam too. Sam's like David Ellison Jr. on bass. He really is a protege of Megadeth's bass player, and our writing. This album's going to be the best yet to come, coming up.
So forget this album. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, forget this album. Start focusing on
Yeah.
hopefully, I don't know when. a year
But
from
highly
now.
anticipating the next album in a year or so.
Yeah.
Well, what is the album's called Salvation? If you want to show the cover art on the screen there's an angel on the front and everything. What is that kind of a theme on the album at all? Is there from your
Absolutely.
perspective?
Absolutely. I read all the lyrics. Liz talk shirted to me up in Dixon City. She did all her artwork on that album. I give her all. I had an idea, and I said, I just see this angel looking over a beaten, weathered city. All the evil, all the negativity, and an angel just sitting there feeling worn out. Like this is the world that we have now.
Yeah.
And I says, and she's like, I said, I just visioning like Gotham City or Batman kind of comic, and she goes, I'm really good at that. And that I said, well, then do it, and that's it. That's her artwork. But Salvation is definitely it's spiritual. It goes in the spiritual realm. I'm a Christian, so a lot of my spiritual beliefs come out. We're very positive. We've always been a positive band.
Sure.
I remember your article, Fred Point pushes positivity through aggression.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Many years ago.
That was a great
and
headline.
we're just carrying on. I mean, there's so much negativity. There's so much hate and people just bashing each other and bullying. And
Yep.
you see it on Facebook. Like, we talk about the positive, like you said.
Sure.
And that's what we want our album to portray and come out to where people are like, I'm having a bad day, but it'll get better. My life sucks right now, but I'm going to rise above this. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to throw in the towel. And a lot of suicide going on. Big musicians,
Yeah.
actors, young kids. I mean, and we're just hang in there, man. The rain is going to come. The snow is going to come, but the sun will shine. Just like it did today. It's brief sometimes.
Right.
It'll be back, though. We'll be back. Give it two weeks, Shenaniker says it's going to get warmer out in a couple weeks. So, hey, that's it. It's a very positive album, Salvation. It's being saved from this rotten world full of negativity and just hatred and,
Well, and that's something that I talk about this a lot on the show, but NEPA scene tries to push the positive side of northeastern Pennsylvania because you see 90% of the media around here is all just about how everything's terrible here, everything's awful, and that's all you see.
Yep.
And then they'll kind of maybe at the end of the newscast be like, "Oh yeah, and by the way, these people did this really nice thing." But anyway, back to the misery.
Right.
It's all about.
You're right.
It's all about that over and over again, and I think it has an effect on our psyche overall.
Yeah,
You
sure
know,
it does.
it has an effect on the way we think about the area and we think about ourselves and the way we think about everything that we do in general.
Right.
It's like, it's not worth it. Nothing's good, nothing's great, nothing's going to come of this.
Right.
That kind of thing. And that negativity, I think, can really just ruin a person.
How people talk negatively, like you're saying right here. I just did an interview. I just finished one up today, and they asked me, "Hey, what's the scene in Scranton?" You know what? I'm damn proud of the music scene. Not just metal, rock, pop. I don't care what you are, but this scene really in this new year has taken a new swing. You've got Finnegan's open up. You got
West.
Stage West.
Yep.
You've got the Irish Wolf is getting a full revamping with Joe Caviston on board with Peter.
Awesome job, Joe.
What else? We got the Border Bar, James Callahan. I mean, that man pushes everybody. That man,
yeah.
that's a musical backbone around here. I mean,
V-Spot.
V-Spot.
love
Always
V-Spot,
V-Spot with the
man.
new
He's the
stage and
man.
everything.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
there's always someone to see. There's always somewhere to play, and it's not just cover bands and tribute bands. Because we go to other areas and they're like, oh, they don't like original. They frown on it. Around here, there is
got
the
a good
cover
mix.
bands.
Yeah.
There is tribute bands, but you know what they really do? They really do cater to the original music scene around here. Do you agree? I mean, especially you. You're a big pusher.
Absolutely. And I think people kind of pine for this. The old days were so great and whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of that is kind of just nostalgia.
Yeah.
Just kind of clouding your memory.
Right.
It's like, no, there was a lot of cover bands in those days too. And there was
Yeah.
a lack of venues
Well, the
that would
thing
play
is-
original stuff. And, places come and go all the time and stuff like that. It's definitely ups and downs. But I think like creative wise, I think we have so many talented bands here right now. I think our biggest issue, even now that we're gaining more venues that care. There's Carl Hall opened up now.
Carl
and
Hall.
we do
Hall.
all ages shows, stuff like that.
Right down the
I think
road.
I think the issue is really getting people to come out now.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's so many people who want to just poo-poo everything and say, "Oh, it's over. The glory days
Well, this
are
is-
over."
this
and
is
Watch
the
it on
problem.
YouTube. Why leave the couch?
Yeah, yeah, all the time.
This is
all
the problem.
fresh-
You could have an evening's worth of activities right on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people really miss out on a lot of great stuff because of that. And they're so stuck in their ways of okay, the good shows are over. There's nothing else to do here. I'm just going to sit in and that's okay, And I think everybody just wants to have somebody to just say, oh yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
whatever. But I got to say, no, I disagree. I think there is a lot of really great stuff here, and it's not just because of what I do. It's just an obvious observation of just.
Well, yeah, you see
Oh,
it
yeah.
firsthand.
Yeah.
I mean, the main reason people are really nostalgic about, reminiscing on the good old days and all that is because back then there wasn't the social media coverage that we have now that's projecting all this stuff.
Sure.
So, back then it might have been considered, oh, we missed the good old days, but now it's like, it's just because you're seeing it more,
Yeah.
you know?
And there's a bit of willful ignorance too. I think a little bit where people are ignoring that stuff. Like I say it all the time when we post something on our Facebook page or whatever. Oh, here's a new song, here's a new album from a band, here's whatever. It gets okay. It gets pretty good attention. It definitely gets more attention than a lot of other media outlets will give. But then the issue, I think, is people will kind of skip past that so that they can find something to be pissed about.
Yeah.
And then they share that instead.
Yeah, why?
So instead of spreading the good news about, oh, look, here's something cool to do, here's some people doing something positive, something great, they just kind of skip right past that and go, can you believe what this politician did today? Or, look at what I'm so
This
angry
guy's
about.
abusing animals.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's like, that happened on the other side of the fucking world.
I
Why are you
know,
so
I
concerned
know.
about it, right? Like, I
Worry
get,
about
like,
yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
like, geez.
Mind your own business.
I feel like you should always improve, start small and build up, and improve your own community before you're worried about everybody else.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll
that
be,
kind of
I'll
thing.
be that guy. Joe Kafston just did that video, and he called it out, the haters.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, yeah.
That video was spot on. He did, like let's forget about the positive, what we're trying to do, and change always always disrupts something.
Sure.
Change always rubs someone
Especially
before
nowadays.
it's done. Some people can't. It's like the art; they can't see the painting till it's done, so they're skeptical.
Right.
And then they might start talking and making things up, and then you get hearsay and all that. But then when the finished product's there, when it's rolling, they forget how you had to
Right.
come through the trenches to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was a big thing where you saw the kind of local metal scene, especially on social media, was very divided on that whole. And I kind of stayed out of it because I'm a metal guy,
Right.
And I've worked with Caviston on many things that are great and have been successful and have helped improve the local scene too. So I'm kind of looking at it and I'm trying to see both sides and say, okay, well this guy has a point, but Caviston has a point too, and I see what you're trying to do and I see what you're trying to do. And you got to kind of meet in the middle and say, yeah, change is inevitable. I think the reality of the situation is Peter reached out to him. It wasn't the other way around. So would we rather that the Irish Wolf pub disappear in a few months because he just can't run it anymore and he's not making enough money to keep it around?
Right.
Or would you rather see a transition
Right.
where they're still going to book metal bands, they're still going to book other stuff too, and everybody can kind of share the venue a little bit more. You know? And I think people kind of get stuck in their ways and they want something to stay the same forever.
Yeah.
But then at the same time they're criticizing the venue too and saying, well, yeah, the place wasn't kept up and,
Right.
and
You
management
need
wasn't
money.
great.
You need money to keep that.
And it's like, yeah, exactly. It goes both ways. You can't say, well, it needs to be, these changes need to be made, but not these changes.
Right.
Right.
It's got,
Right.
You kind of got to give and take a little bit.
Absolutely.
There's got to be a compromise, basically.
Right, exactly. And I don't think anybody really went into that whole deal with kind of bad intentions. Nobody went in rubbing people the wrong way. And I think people kind of overreacted on social media and they look at, they want to put an enemy on somebody, somebody that they don't even know personally. You know what I mean? We run into the same thing because we work as a media sponsor for the Electric City Music Conference and the Steamtown Music Awards. And at the end of the day, I've never sat in a room other than doing the podcast and stuff like that with Joe personally. We work on a business level and he lets me know about stuff in advance and I help him promote it.
You help
'cause
try to
we're-
push it.
We're connected and that kind of thing. So, but none of it is, there's no bias there. There's
Right.
no whatever. And then people behind, people out on the outside look at it and go, oh yeah, there must be something sinister going on. There's some kind of,
How about he's providing you with content and you're pushing it because that's your job.
If we win a Steamtown Music Award, then it's, they only won it because they're the media sponsor.
Right.
Oh, I see what's going on here. And it's like, well, maybe it's just because we worked harder than the other guys and we actually give a shit.
Yeah.
Maybe that has something to do with it.
Yep.
Have you picked up a Weekender recently? Have you picked up a Electric City recently?
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a world of difference.
They're
That's a
still
whole
out there. Those
180.
magazines?
Yeah, exactly.
Are they still running?
I don't know.
They
I don't
used to
see-
be great.
I don't
They
see them
used to
anymore.
be great,
They used
man.
to be back in the day.
Man, you could get all your info and dirt, what you want to do in a weekend. You could plan a party. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've died.
Oh yeah.
The music rag has died.
And you know what? I don't know if it's, some of it I think is a lack of passion, and some of it is just like they're looking at it as, the newspapers are a business, and they gotta kind of cut the arts always go first. You see that in schools. You see that.
Sure.
Any extracurricular programs. Government funding, arts are always the first to go. And that's kind of how they're looking at it. Is the newspapers are dying, so it's like, okay, let's get rid of this stuff that we see that's not real news.
Yeah.
That's the art. Who cares about that? Entertainment. We got to focus on this and that. We got to focus on whatever the big news story of the week is, which again goes back to it's all negative.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think you need a little bit of a balance there.
You do. I agree.
But speaking of the Irish Wolf Pub, you guys are opening for Attacker March 16th. Beyond Fallen, Slapjaw, and Royal Hell, I think, is also playing that show as well. Are you guys excited for that one? Now, Attacker's been around for a while.
Yeah, I remember I've had their albums when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And on vinyl.
So that's cool.
Yeah, we're also doing Vicious Rumors there. Coming up in May.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, they're coming, and
I think
we're also doing. What are we doing at the Border Bar? We're doing Clovenhoof.
Yeah.
From UK coming over. We're gonna be doing that show, and not for nothing, but we got our CD release. We're working the CD release. We have the lineup all set.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah,
we
you know what, man?
Show?
We were almost like, the heck.
Yeah.
We were just like, you know what? Why have a CD release? Everything got pushed back, and then trying to get a venue, and the venues are busy. The venues don't have a spot for us at this point, and it's like, it's like, when do you want to do it? And we were thrown a date, Thank you to the Border Bar and James. They hooked us up. June 1st is our CD release.
All right, you heard it here first.
This is all new news to everyone. So
it's
June
NEPA
1st,
scene exclusive.
Yes. The lineup is set. We have Royal Hell. We've got Slapjaw. We've got
Blood of Heroes.
Blood of Heroes coming from Chicago.
Awesome band.
VQM. They just signed to Sony Pavement, planning to go to Japan. So that's a band. You're a Lamb of God fan. You're getting knocked off your ass by Blood of Heroes.
Okay.
We also have
cool guys too.
Sonic Salvation. Yep. That's Amanda Tosh, Gary, and
I'm excited to see Eric kind of come back with a new band and stuff like
they're
that.
on it.
Anybody
and
remembers those guys from
other
bands?
And we have the Dreadnecks from up in
they're
near Buffalo,
awesome.
Finger Lakes.
Okay,
that is, you don't want to miss that show. That's like heavy metal, hard rock, folk, and country all smashed together with one hell of a stage show. We just played with them, Finger Lakes. We were so blown away by them, like talking to them, hanging out, and we're like, hey, we want to bring something fresh. We try to hook up the local bands, and we've done a lot of shows with Beyond Fallen, and we've done other bands. We wanted to bring in Slapjaw. I don't think they've ever played a CD release.
I don't think so.
And you got to give those guys 20 years strong.
Yeah.
Right.
So
20
we
plus.
became good friends with Royal Hell. We're friends with Sonic Salvation for way before music even started.
Yeah.
So we friended Dreadnecks. So we like to bring in fresh stuff. We owe people from touring, and VQM, through Yvonne. We had a talk while we're out in Chicago. We just played her birthday with Blood of Heroes. I mean, they are just slamming. Dude, if you like Lamb of God or Kill Switch, I mean, they got the stage presence. It's like just taking a chainsaw to your face, man. They're insane.
They're fucking awesome.
And the Dreadnecks from up there, we just, like I said, just played Waterloo with them. We didn't know who they were. They went on. We all just sat there like this is great.
They're
different.
funny too. They're
funny.
fun. They're really they're
How do you explain it?
entertaining. I don't even know how to describe them.
They walked up on stage and their singer had a washboard?
Yes, a washboard,
he was like,
and he plays it
while
while
they
he
were singing
sings.
and-
And they're mixing this
They're
with
shredding the
like
musicianship.
classical
is awesome.
shred guitar.
the guitarist.
It's
you
crazy.
close your eyes, you think it's Eddie Van Halen.
No, he's better than that.
He sounds good, man.
Oh,
The
he's awesome.
singer's
They were
voice
awesome.
is odd. What would you
their
say?
guitar.
Maybe a little rockabilly in there too. Remember that song they're
Yep.
doing, Devil, that tune? Like
Definitely some
we're
rockabilly.
just, and I don't want to give away the surprise. Some of the stuff they do live, I mean, to bring the audience in, it's high test, man. This is going to be a hell of a CD release.
It's intense. There's going to be a lot of energy, and Blood of Heroes is awesome too. The only way I could describe them is just balls. They have balls. That's the only way I can describe them. They hit a note on the guitar and your bones shake.
Unlike all those eunuch bands out there, these guys have balls.
We have a cookout too that day. We're gonna, my wife's
That's
gonna
the
be
cool
cooking.
thing about the Border Bar.
Yep,
is
we
they got
did-
that little patio.
We had
Yeah,
Thread
yeah.
Fest, and it was we had 10 bands, and it was a total success. They loved it. The bands, we had a good crowd from the time we started till the time they threw them out of the bar. It was a great time. Some great bands.
Some good
And,
burgers.
Yeah. That burger lady, she's something else. But we'll be doing the cookout. All your drinks will be inside at the Border Bar. We have that worked out with them. But it's when we cook out, it helps us to draw extra money for bills.
Sure.
We've got bills where you're not making a ton of money. You got to pay all the bands a little something at the door that you're producing. But it's not like it's crazy. Back when we were young, it's $5 to get in.
Right.
30 years later, it's still $5.
still $5,
What's
yeah.
the problem here? But
Yeah.
you go see Iron Maiden, it used to be $10, $12. Now it's $250,
Yeah,
$500 to see.
Sure.
But the local scene, you push it. Can we push $10? And you think, I ain't paying $10. You have 10 bands, $10. You're paying one. You're telling me each band ain't worth $1 for their 40-minute set. All right, that's what that whole thing just like sickens me. It really does.
That or you get the excuse factory. Oh, my wife stubbed her toe on the new furniture. I gotta wash the dog and shave the cat. I'll catch you guys out sometime, though.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be
Can
dead by then.
you waive the $5, dude? You just spent $150
yeah,
at the bar.
right. No.
I don't gotta pay a cover, do I?
Yeah.
$100 for a ticket, right? Like $12 for a beer, $20 to park, and $35 for the concert shirt.
And the toll
I
road.
mean, and all the gas getting there, I can't pay the $5
Don't
cover.
forget the 20 for the hook.
It's
Right,
like you
yeah.
right. It's like you can or you just don't want to because there's a difference.
Guy I know on
Absolutely.
Facebook just saw me and he spent over $500 for himself to see Iron Maiden. By the time the hotel, the ticket, all it. But you can't spend $5-10 for these local bands. We drag our gear. We have no road crew. We still have bills. The bus has bills. The gas. And we just dropped the bus off. It's down. We need maintenance. We popped the cylinder coming down from Waterloo. So now it's like we got to get. We need maintenance. You got merch. You got all of it. All studio. You press the CDs.
Yeah, people don't understand. People say, "Oh, you must make good money." No, it's a lot of it's out of pocket, and it's
Right.
it's because you do what you love. You don't do it for the money.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't get that.
Like Alex says, we try to break even on the road, so we're not just sucking our pockets.
And when you talk to even the big bands who have quote unquote made it, so
Yeah.
to speak, they'll tell you the same thing. Like, if we don't tour this year, my family doesn't eat. I don't pay my bills.
Yeah.
I don't. We need to put out a CD to sell X amount or whatever to get by. Just to scrape by and make a living. Never
Right.
mind actually
Living
live
in
in
luxury.
mansions. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's this idea that you're a rock star. You live in a mansion. And there's
That's like a
Some
pipe
do,
long gone.
some
Yeah.
do from the old
Sure.
days. Some
For
very
the old
and the
days.
pop, the country, maybe
Yeah.
but for the most part, those days we were 7 years. We're not on a label yet. We'd love to find a label. And you know what? Now for the 4 albums later, now the new one is garnishing great reviews. We are getting killer reviews again. And in 4 years, we've really never gotten a bad review. And I think of some of the pro bands who've gotten bad reviews, and they're on major labels, and they're touring.
Right.
We've been doing it all by ourselves. We were told when we first started, you've got to sustain. You got to show that you've been into this years. You got to provide the CD and go to the studio, pay all your bills, and have the. We have everything. We've done it all. We still don't have a label. Still to this day, have no label. And we've sent stuff out, the old packaging, shipping it. Still nowhere.
It's not always a bad
Same
thing.
place.
You gotta watch out because some labels are just shit.
But there are good ones out there. Still,
Yeah.
there are good ones.
Well, I think a lot of the bigger ones kind of went bust a long time ago. When you think of the typical cigar chomping millionaires, make all this money off these guys. They're all gone now.
Yeah.
Those labels don't even exist anymore.
over with,
so the
man.
ones that are left, I think, are the smaller labels, the ones who kind of care, the ones who want to. See the industry still thrive in some form
Yeah.
or another.
Right,
so
right.
you don't see as much of that corruption anymore.
Right.
As you did maybe back in the day where they'd hook onto one band for one hit and then drop them the rest of the time and
Yep.
there'd be no support and that kind of stuff. there's the smaller labels now. Like a lot of those bands that used to be on big labels how many years ago are on the smaller labels.
Right.
There's not a shame in that. There's not like, oh yeah,
Right.
they
Yeah.
fell far or whatever. You know, it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
the other guys don't exist anymore.
Right.
They're not signing those types of bands anymore,
Yeah.
even if they do exist. you
And
know?
some love it now because they have more creative control.
That's another big thing. Yeah, exactly. You don't
You know?
want somebody coming in telling you how to make your album or
Right.
anything else, especially if they know nothing about the genre or
Well,
what,
that
what you're
too,
doing.
and like back in the day, that like a lot of record companies would own the band's music, and I
Yeah.
mean, they'd be paid handsomely for it, but they own it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then you got to figure too. There's so many different subgenres now.
Yeah,
It's
Yes.
ridiculous.
and a lot of them mix genres now.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
a very popular thing now. where you're
Dubstep.
not- Yeah, you're not just you
hardcore.
can't just be one
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You got to be like 20 different.
we're
little-
scrap metal.
Yeah, we don't. We don't follow any. We're just old school.
We just play.
We are old school guys. That's all I can say about us. You know, blue collar, pounding the pavement. We did everything everyone's ever told us to do. Accomplished everything on our own, and here we are still. If it wasn't for VQM, we'd have no one in our corner pocket. You know, they're the first ones. But to get that label, to get just to get on those better shows, those bigger shows, to get a little more, to get your name out to other countries in that distribution
Right.
realm. But we've met pro bands that are on big labels, and we're like, hey, what do they do for you? And what do they say?
Nothing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
it's
Yeah.
sad, man.
You're like
It's
absolutely
wow.
nothing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're approached by a label and they're like, oh, you got to pay $9,000, then we'll sign you. We have to pay. We were offered one. We give them $9,000, and I'm like, is that backwards? You know,
Right.
we're doing everything
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Where's the chance you take? There's no more. Nobody wants to take the chance anymore.
No.
I'm thinking.
Sure.
Then if you want to get on a bigger show, it's either pay thousands of dollars or sell like 100, 200 tickets.
Yeah, even a lot of bands who are on like tours now. I mean, there's no really, there's no free rides, man. That
Bions are
buy-ons,
big.
15, 20 grand just to get on. I mean, it's
Who's got that?
Right.
20 grand. I'm taking a wife and going to Europe.
yeah, you can like
right.
better your
I'll
life.
take the band.
Yeah.
We're all going to go to Europe. We're going to tour. We're going to vacation. We're going to, be
20
sipping Mai
grand.
Tais in
Buy
Spain.
your-
Like
20,
Yeah.
20 grand. Buy yourself a car. Put a down payment on a house.
house.
Just go to
Further your
Italy.
life.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go to Italy and eat a bunch of pasta.
Do that. It's just a lot of money, man.
Well, let's take any comments. We got to wrap up, but I want to make sure that we
Any good
we-
questions?
We hit those comments, and
I'm sure there's a few.
They want to know where the beer joint is. They're going to meet us there. We're all going to get hammered and call off work tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Thirsty Thursday, folks.
Well, hey, head down to Beer Boys, right down the street. They help us out, so let's try to plug them too. Jimmy Ardo, great bunch of guys.
Jimmy's a good guy.
Jimmy, good guy. Jimmy!
Yeah.
Jimmy!
Yvonne is in the is in the chat.
Hey, Yvonne. Did it warm up in Chicago yet? Probably not. You got more snow coming. We saw that.
So do we.
Same response.
Rick Horton, what's up, Threat Point?
What's up,
What's up, Rick?
Thanks for Waterloo, buddy.
Let's see. Vinny himself is tuned in.
Of course.
Oh,
Vinny.
Always a celebrity, and Facebook has designated him as a top fan. So
Nice.
Mr. Finney in the V
He's
spot.
more handsome than
Get him
10
up.
movie stars.
you could take that to the bank.
Yeah.
If this was the dating game, I'd ask the question to Alex. Alex, I'm easy, super easy, but I don't want to just go all the way without a good night out first. What songs are you going to play me compared to CJ's playlist, and what alcohol are you going to slip into my Diet Fresca?
Who's asking that question?
That is Vinny.
Oh.
I didn't even get that all. There'll be Long Island iced teas at some point in the night.
Little
Long
bit of
Island
Yanni.
Iced Teas are good.
Some Yanni, some Long Islands. It's a good
Jägermeister.
night.
Get you moist in
Oh,
the
we're gonna have
drawers.
Jaeger night at our border bar. It's Jaeger night, and we're
Okay.
and he's doing. John's doing discounts on Jaeger, whatever Jägermeister is, because we're doing a giveaway. Yeah, we have a Jägermeister custom guitar. It's gonna be raffled off. So
Nice.
by
Is it really?
Schecter, yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty, and there's a Tama custom silver sparkle snare that's gonna be raffled off, and probably a Threat Point little merch package.
Oh,
We
nice.
might do baskets too or something. We did real well at the Barn Oak many years ago.
Threat Point
That was
smidgens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Little chocolate creations
Chocolate
of
horns.
Alex.
There's an endorsement deal that, you know, where's our smidgens from all the bands?
They asked us what endorsements we wanted in an interview once. I said Exxon, BP, petrol, fuel, pilot. Like, fill the tank. That's an endorsement.
Yeah,
That
right?
will. Yeah, that's
There you go.
the gift that keeps on giving.
Rat Point mouthwash.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever you got to do to pay the bills.
Oh, man.
you know? And John sometimes will be on, and he works with Wild Meats, who does beef jerky around here
Ooh.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Wilkes-Barre.
I've had the smoked kangaroo.
It's
Place is
it's-
awesome.
Yeah, it's
that
amazing.
guy is
you know?
incredible down there.
And people will be like, "What's he talking about meat for?" It's like, hey, you know, that's cool. Hey, well, however you can do it. However you can pay the
it's
bills, however
awesome.
You can,
He has all kinds of amazing stuff in that shop. I've been in there. I think it was about a year or two ago. I was there with my father after work, and it was awesome.
I feel like as long as you can, you know, say, hey, yeah, it's good, you know, then
Oh, yeah.
you're good to go. I can definitely say the V Spot's good. I can definitely say Beer Boys is good. So, Shelly says, how is the Weekender still a thing? I don't know. They ran a press release as their cover this week. I don't fucking know. I don't understand.
Good question.
I don't understand how that works. How do you get away with that? You know, especially like I'm not getting a paycheck every week. You guys are getting a paycheck every week to put this thing out. You fill it with you know, 10,000 ads for the St. Patrick's Parade, and there's nothing about the parade. I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. Let's see. Brian Russell hopefully knows snow for the Scranton show. Well, you won't have to worry about that by the time they get to this show. Mr. Callahan, who runs a Border Bar, books the stuff at the Border Bar. By the way, he has some really cool music videos he's done recently.
Absolutely.
He
Metal
worked
Blade.
worked with Clutch, Queensryche, I think.
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden,
Revocation, I
yeah,
think.
like really,
Revocation.
yeah, some
Revocation's
amazing
awesome.
music.
James
videos.
Callahan is metal.
Yeah.
He's made of metal,
He
isn't he?
yeah, he absolutely
You know,
is.
when you see the horns up, it's James Callahan.
Yeah, exactly.
He took over
That's
for
him.
Dio.
I shook his hand once. It was cold like metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a robot.
Yeah.
Like Colossus from the X-Men, you know,
Yeah.
he's just pure metal now, you know. Amanda, thanks for the free PR. I'm so pumped to be part of the release show.
She's doing a strip tease, by the way, we heard.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
John Connor, is that a relation of Sarah Connor?
Yeah.
From
Is
the
that,
Joan
I was
future?
gonna say, is this the Terminator?
That's the
James
guy.
Callahan
that's the guy
is a
in the-
robot, so I don't
That's
know.
the town we
Wilderness.
played at. We played in Gary, Indiana. That's like the Terminator,
yeah.
that town.
He says we got to open for these guys last month. They drove down from Scranton to play.
The
for
Wilderness,
Snow and Ice.
awesome, man.
These guys brought it. They were great, very friendly too. Great bunch of guys.
Yeah.
See? So you
Thank
have
you.
people.
He's a guy,
Who were,
good,
yeah,
good
great
guy.
band.
We talked lifting. Good guy.
Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks
for having us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else you guys want to throw in before we go here? Anything else you want to mention?
You know, I'd like to say-
TreadPointOfficial.com.
Yeah, Trent Point. You know, thanks for all the whole NEPA supporting all these benefits. We've been involved in a lot of benefits.
Yes.
Your family's benefit,
Yep.
you know, and we got one coming up at Finnegan's. We just did Chris that passed away in the car wreck in Kaiser Avenue.
Yes, yes.
I mean, the way it all sticks together and how they do it, you know, Behind the Gray and all these bands that came together. I don't care if they're tributes or covers or originals or pop, rock, hard, metal. I mean, it's cool that NEPA does. There's cities that don't have this, and we get tell all the time. I mean, this valley comes together when a time of need. And it's pretty
Right.
cool to see it all happen because you never know when it'll be you next. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Me, him, the next person, your neighbor, your family. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so big thanks to the whole valley.
Thanks to
I'm
you.
proud to
thanks
live in
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Anybody who's
You
ever
know?
gave a damn about us, saw us,
Yeah.
played with us, bought anything, you know, thank you so much for watching this. Thanks a bunch. I mean, we know what we sound like in the practice room and there's nobody else around. You know what I mean? If we go play out live and there's nobody there, I mean, you go play for people.
I
You know
always
what I
say
mean?
the music starts with you and the music ends with you, the fans. Absolutely.
So-
Thanks to everybody
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
for
Thank
their
you.
undying support,
Yep.
coast to coast.
And get out there and see a show. Actually go out and support. You know, don't be one of those people we were talking about earlier. You know, Netflix has some great programming and all, but, you know, there's time for that later.
Yes.
You know, like go on the weekend and, you know, see these guys, see all the other bands that are working hard to, you know, try and make this scene what it is. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you here back at our usual time. The last couple of times, I know we've thrown you guys off by being on Thursdays. We're back next Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. On Facebook Live. And if you're catching the show later, make sure that you share it as well. If you enjoyed what we had, the conversation we had here tonight, make sure you share it with other people. And you know, share original music too. And these guys have a new album, and it's so hard to break through the social media algorithms to actually get your stuff out there. You know, so if you see an album you like, a song you like, whatever, please share it. You know, make sure that you support positivity on social media. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you here next week. Have a good night.
Night.